Jean-Charles Moyen is a filmmaker and an SSP insider who has worked with the French US secret space program. He's also a contactee with several extraterrestrial civilizations. He has been tested for his ability to be able to teleport to different locations on Earth, and the tests have been positive. And today we're going to be talking about those tests, and we're going to be talking about a major point of corroboration between Jean-Charles and JP concerning 3 underwater civilizations in the Atlantic Ocean under the Bermuda Triangle.
You're listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla, your source for the uncensored truth regarding the human, extraterrestrial, global, and political agenda. Click the like button and subscribe to this channel. And now, here's Dr. Michael Salla.
Welcome, Jean-Charles, to Exopolitics Today.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Well, it's so wonderful to have you back again. And, you know, it's really amazing following your story and your information, how you're always able to produce and find points of corroboration. And so today we're going to be looking at some of these corroborating points. And I think it would be a good place to just recapitulate what happened in our last interview when you talked about your trips to Mount Fuji, where you teleported as both a child and as an adult to Mount Fuji. So maybe you just want to just repeat, in summary, exactly what we discussed in our last interview.
Yes. When I was young, I was able to teleport myself in Mount Fuji in Japan. And I remember met beings. Her name was Utsu. She was a guardian of this mountain. And when I met these beings, she don't call me Jean-Charles. She called me Oshi. Oshi mean in English star, like a star seed, I guess. And I draw some in my diaries. I draw these beings with a little a UFO, you know, into the mountain. And everything I lived when I was young, I wrote in my diaries, and I showed to my parents to testimony after a lot of decade. They remember this experience. So when I was young, I was able to teleport myself in a few place. And after that, I grew, and many years after, I met again these beings, Utsu, and I discovered during an interview with my friend Mariko and Miyoko Sano in Japan, there is a legend called about a mysterious woman called Utsu, and she lived into this mountain of Mount Fuji, and she keep in a secret place a big spaceship. So it's corroborate when I was young and I met these beings. She was a very strange woman, and I described everything about these beings into this mountain, and everything is right into a book of legend in Japan, in Osaka. Some people know this legend about this mysterious woman came from the stars.
Yes, so you were able to teleport to Japan, to Mount Fuji, as a youngster and as an adult. And as a youngster, I mean, what you saw and what you drew in your diaries matched with some ancient legends. So that was a major corroborating point. Another point of corroboration that we thought was very significant was that you and Elena Danan both saw each other in Tokyo, that you both teleported there, that, well, in fact, you teleported there, but Elena was taken there by the Galactic Federation, that they used their technology to transport her. And so that's an ability that you have to be able to just get to different places. So she saw you. So that was another point of corroboration. So just recently, you had a remarkable experience concerning your iPhone, where the GPS app showed you being in Japan as you were simulating a teleportation experience. So why don't you tell us what happened?
Yes, first of all, very important to clarify for people. When I was young, at 7, I tell to my parents I have a past life. I had a past life in in old Japan, and I remember my past life. I live into a village name was Sendai in Japan. And I remember I was with my children and my wife, and there is an emperor, and it was a very special story about this past life, because everything was very detailed. And I remember my wife died in my arm to protect me by a arrow, and every people in this village was killed by the emperor. And when I spoke this story to my parents at 7, and now, many decades after, to Miyoko, they do a research and they discover in Sendai at the same century, there is a emperor kill every people in the village. The same detail I tell when I was young. So keep in your mind this story. Sendai. I was a little boy, imagine. Now, I was in my office, and I was in my sofa, and I had my phone in my hand, and I have an application with my GPS position, real position, not VPN. Okay, it's important to clarify. It's a GPS, and with my friend Kevin, we know where we are each other, or Melanie or my daughters, and it's more safe, you know. It's a technology, so we use it. And I remember I was in my sofa, and I check where is Kevin, and Kevin was in his house, and okay, he don't answer me because he maybe he sleep. So at this moment, my decoration, Japanese decoration in my office, I look my decoration, and in my eyes, I have a picture of Japan appear in my eyes, and in his other eye there is the office, my office, and I feel dizzy, and the two image cross into my eyes, and I close my eyes in a fraction of a second, dizzy. And when I open my eyes, I say, oh my God, what's happening? And my phone bug very strangely. He opened the application when I was in this application to show where is Kevin. My position changed very quick, and I was in Japan, Sendai, and the arrow turned like this and search, because the last position was in Canada, but he don't have the time to calculate my position. You know, it's not you take your car or you walk, and he can make a map, but not this time because it's too quick. But he say he know that I was at this place. My position, like you saw in the description, it turned like this, and he say probably, where is he? Where is he? It's impossible. So curiously, the application bug, but bug at Japan. You see position, it's in blue, and it's in Sendai. How many chance your phone bug to the Japan at the same village when I was young in my past life? It's curious. And like I say, it's not a VPN, it's a GPS position, it's a physical position, you know? You can trick this. It's very, it's a like say, Danny and Elena, it's a big proof. And you know what? When I made my interview with Elena, we spoke about these events, impressive. And during the interview, when we spoke about the proof, this evidence, everything was okay during 35 or 42 minutes. And at the moment, precisely, and now this is the proof, black screen. We heard only my voice with Melanie, but nothing else. No screen. Because when these events happen, my phone was frozen, you know, at this place. And I walk into the living room and I say to Melanie, to my wife, honey, check this. Film with your phone my screen, because everything is frozen. I must reset my phone to use my phone now, because everything is bug. So she decided to phone my phone to have the proof. But at this moment, like you say, like you see, there is no image during the interview with Elena. It's impossible. Everything was correct during all interview, but just this part. She re-upload a second times and it works. But how many chance you have a bug in live for this evidence? Like say Danny and Elena, it's a proof of the proof. Because it's incredible.
So in that live interview,
why it's disappeared?
So in that live interview with Elena, the kind of proof that you just showed us disappeared for a short period, so suggesting some kind of interference. But definitely, what you described is very interesting. That you didn't actually consciously set out to do this. It was just you were trying to communicate with a friend, and you got an image of Sendai with one eye, that you were seeing one hemisphere of the brain. You were seeing the city of Sendai, and you were seeing your office with the other eye. And then something happened that it was like this teleportation ability kicked in, and and it was registered by your phone, but of course you didn't physically go to Sendai. It was just, it was almost like setting it up for you to travel there, but the phone picked it up. And I find that very interesting, because it is, on the one hand, proof, as you said, that, that you do have this remarkable ability to teleport. But the other thing that I find very interesting is what you described, that one eye saw Sendai and the other eye saw your office, which suggests that one part of the brain, one hemisphere of the brain, is responsible for the kind of teleportation experience, and the other part, we're talking maybe the right side of the brain is more the responsible for teleportation. So was it your left eye that saw Sendai?
Yes, left eye Sendai and right eye is my office. Okay. Like when I was young, when I was in my in my room when I was 18, and I have the same thing with my girlfriend at this time. It was the apartment of my girlfriend and my room, and after that everything crossed. I have a dizzy, And then when I opened my eyes, so it's different. I was in the front of his door, in apartments, in a few kilometers. Everything was stay on my bed, my shoes, my pants, my ID, my keys. It was really a teleportation physically this time. And my father bring me my clothes, and my girlfriend was traumatized, and we break down our relationship. And you know,
Yeah, you told me about that. That must have been upsetting at the time. She didn't reward you for that remarkable experience. She said, no, the opposite. So, yeah, that's really kind of very interesting because you have this capacity for different parts of the brain to be active and to kind of like, almost take over. And that's an ability that dolphins have. Because dolphins, we used to swim with the dolphin. You actually swam with us with the dolphins in Hawaii when you visited. And the dolphins, when they come to rest, when they're sleeping, only half of their brain, half of the hemisphere is sleeping, is shut down. The other half is active. So they're able to do that. And of course, they have very large brains, but it seems that you have a similar ability where your cognitive functions can be distinct or can be activated, one part of the brain over the other. So I don't know if you want to speculate about why it is that it's the left eye that sees the location and you're there, and the right eye is more left brain and it's kind of more logical and organized.
Dan Winter tell me the same thing. He analyzed my brainwave and tell me, "Oh, this is very interesting detail, John Charles." And I say, "Why?" He tell me, "Your left eyes is I don't remember the part of the psychometry or every abilities of like telekinesis, special abilities. It's in the left." And I say, "Oh, okay." And the thing more normal for humans, it's right. So it's curious that your brainwave is this side is different, and everything corroborate. He tell me we analyze, and it's very important because it's not the two eyes, it's one eyes and one eyes, and they cross.
Right. So what kind of ability? I mean, the teleportation ability that you have, you are able to access it because part of your brain is activated. Now, we know that it involves gamma rays, or sorry, gamma brain waves. So, for people that don't know, or maybe they just need to be reminded now, people are familiar with the brain having to work through different cycles. So you have, for example, the brain waves, the beta, the alpha brain waves, the delta, the theta brain waves that all have different frequencies that they operate under. Like the delta is the slowest, below 4 hertz, and so forth. But gamma is the highest. So you want to maybe explain what gamma brain waves are in relationship to these other brain waves?
I'm not a specialist about that, but I remember when I try to teleport myself with the device of Dan Winter and the software, we discovered when I was very calm and don't moving, my brainwave was out of the charts. They must reduce the graphic because it's insane. They never seen that before. And he tell me, your brainwave is like a Tibetan brainwave. They call the Tibetan brainwave with the monk, and they spend 45 years in a cavern, no technology, and they have this kind of brainwave, but like the child, they can have the abilities to read a book with hidden eyes, with a mask. And he tell me it's like the same, but not the same, because it's very strong. And he tell me this is the proof something happened during the test. You know, this is a physically and the evidence, scientific evidence that something, it's not in your imagination. This is very important to clarify for people, because if it's my imagination, how could you explain my brainwave out of the chart and my heartbeat was like a sprinter, you know, like a Carl Lewis run? But at this moment, you saw that I was set in my seat, you know, so it's impossible. So something very important happened during this test, and the first evidence is my brainwave, and the two evidence is my phone recently with my position. So I don't know if we call this teleportation. In the case of me, when I was young, it was really teleportation physically, because my parents must bring my clothes, you know, and I was in the 4 kilometers of my house. But now maybe we have a new name, because it's different, because maybe it's physically quantum transportation, physically quantum jump. I don't know. But when people heard teleportation, it's like, oh, it's a science fiction, it's a Star Trek, and blah, blah, blah. Most people don't understand what I say. But you know what, my friend? Something really happened. It's not imagination. It's really proof now with the device of my friend Dan Winter. And everything happened with my phone, you know? So this is curious. How to explain that? Something happened, really, really, and physically, you know? So the gamma brainwave, it's for Dan, it's very, very important of the brain when you do something like test your teleportation abilities or something else, or telekinesis, or I saw the documentary of Dan about these children can drive the bicycle without her eyes, and can count a currency and change the color and class the color in a different box, and it was really amazing, you know. So what's happened?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is important that we emphasize that, you know, you were tested using empirical tools like this machine that Dan Winter got you to. I think you purchased it and you hooked it up to yourself, and so you were tested, and so that testing that Dan Winter did, I mean, that showed that you had this these brainwaves that were kind of quite remarkable. Whoops. Okay.
Yeah, he called me. He tell me the gold number too. I think it's a right translation. Gold number is
the golden mean.
Yeah, every in my body, in my brainwave. He never seen that before. He spent 51 years research of the brainwave, and he tell me he traveled in 45 country, and he never seen that before with our scientist and programmer of the software, and he was very amazed, because he tell me it's incredible, because the test was try to teleport yourself, and the result is something happen in your brain.
Well, you can actually see it in that chart that we, I mean, those that are viewing this, you can see that bottom figure with the barcodes that you have on the left-hand side. You have the red, which is the theta, or sorry, the delta. Then you have the theta. Then you have the alpha. And then the blue is the beta brainwaves, but the purple are the gamma rays. And that's very high. I mean, most people do not generate that amount of gamma rays in their gamma brain waves. I mean, it's much, much less. So you discussed this with Dan, and he was like amazed, as you just described, the extent to which you had the gamma waves that were very active, and certainly that does support your ability, your stories of being able to teleport, because teleportation is this kind of like paranormal ability that accesses parts of the brain, or parts of the brain are used, but it's going to be using something like gamma brain waves to activate it, and someone needs to be have a very strong gamma brainwave activity to be able to do it.
Yes, Dan tell me, he think when I was in this state, I project in front of me, I am himself like a portal. And I open a portal himself, and I go through the portals. So he tell me, you are like you are a Stargate yourself, John Charles. And I say, oh, okay, it's wow, it's interesting, you know.
It's very interesting and very significant too that people have all sorts of abilities that are untapped, and that the way to access some of those abilities is to develop these gamma brainwave functions in the brain, and that you can do that through meditation. You can do that through a number of things. Now, what I found fascinating is this connection with a whistleblower that Elena Danaan interviewed, and he died, Stephen Chua.
Yes.
And he was also tested for gamma brain waves. And because he had an IQ, he was recruited by the Singaporean military back in 1981. And he had incredible intellectual abilities. His IQ was off the charts. So the Singaporean military kind of like promoted him into the Prime Minister's office. And then Americans, some secret organization associated with the American secret space program, wanted to test Stephen. And his gamma brainwave activity was off the charts as well. And they said, oh, we want you to come with us to Area 51. And so the story that Elena, in interviews, and that in the book, Area 51, Conversations with Insider Stephen Chua, he describes being taken to Area 51. And what was being done there, what was being tested, was that they were testing fly-by-thought technology. In other words, they had specially modified F-15s. There's F-15Es, but they had a specially modified F-15F that no one hears about, because that is actually a thought-controlled jetcraft. And so they found that pilots that tried to use the fly-by-thought technology were suffering brain damage, and some of them died. And what they were able to learn was that it was all because the pilots' brains could not handle high gamma brainwave activity, that this technology kind of like stimulated or required high gamma brainwave activity. And so they were interested in people that were able to produce high amounts of gamma brainwaves. And so they got Stephen Chua out there. Once they found out that he naturally produced a high degree of gamma brainwave activities, and he was able to fly the technology without any problem at all. And so it's an incredible story, and it's in the book that Elena is got up available now for pre-order. But I just wanted you to comment about that. What do you think about that?
About Stephen?
Yes, Stephen being tested and being recruited to Area 51 because of his high gamma brainwave activity.
I think the gamma activity is very interesting for special super soldier, because with this ability they can develop something else, and maybe more powerful to detect a lot of things. And I think it's like a DNA, special DNA for the people who want to control the ark, you know. And I guess Stephen was one of these special beings, and maybe he died for that because he was very special, and maybe they will be afraid of Stephen because he have a special gamma brainwave. I don't have this information. I discovered not right now this particularity of his abilities. I'm very surprised, and I'm very happy to discover Stephen have a brainwave, a gamma brainwave out of the charts too. I guess this particularly gamma brainwave is very important for the selection of super soldier. I'm 100% sure of that. They found this I don't know, these specialties into some people, and they recruit it with this because they have this gamma brainwave very, very high.
Well, I find it very significant that back in 1981, or soon after that, in that period of time, that there was a knowledge that these abilities, to be able to fly by thought and other kind of enhanced psychic abilities, were all dependent on gamma brainwave activity, and that could be tested. And they were looking for people with high gamma brainwave activity. So that makes me question, I mean, your own life. I mean, you've described how you went through various periods, and so as a youngster, and as an adult when you served in the French military as part of your national conscription. I mean, you did tests. So I wonder at what point the French government identified that you have high gamma brainwave activity, and if that was why they wanted you so desperately to join the French US secret space program.
Yeah, the first time it was when I was my sunstroke, and I was hospitalized, and they discovered in radiography, in the X-ray, a little metal tic-tac into my brain. And I remember the first time when I entered to the cylinder to make this X-ray, everything shut down. You know, when I'm stressed, everything shut down. The computer, the light, the everything electronic. And after that, they do another time, and it's working. But they discovered this. And in the night, there is a military guys in my room with an X-ray doctor, and they talk about me. And I remember the guys in military, I try to understand what he say about me, and I can't because he spoke German. And they was very interesting by my brainwave, not just for the tic-tac, because they know something about me. And at this moment, I was selected for my abilities. And with another children in the basement of this hospital, there was a secret selection for children. And I jump my story because it's very long to explain, but in principle, I was in the basement of another children, and we had a suit, a black suit with an emblem in the chest, represents a winged horse like a Pegasus, and we enter into a big light like a Stargate to through the light, and we arrive into another big room like a hangar, and they test our fear, and many children failed except me. and I was selected for this. And they test, and I remember there is a lot of frightening things to sorry, to test how control our fear, because in the future, maybe for different mission, we were in the front of some beings like a Black Draco, and we don't have we don't be afraid to do a mission. You know what I mean. So they test our fear.
I'm just curious, with fear, just the emotion of fear and the brain wave it corresponds with. I wonder if this is like something that's fear is something that is expressed through beta brain waves, but when you are in the gamma brain wave, you cannot fear because, well, that fear is too low a vibration. That gamma brain waves are a higher frequency. And in that frequency, you can manifest that's what you're doing, really. I mean, gamma brainwave activity seems to be the power to manifest, whether it's to be able to teleport to places, whether it's to be able to kind of interface with fly-by-thought technologies or many other psychic abilities. It's the ability to manifest, whereas fear kind of like limits you, or, well, it doesn't always. I mean, fear can put you in a heightened state of preparedness, like in combat or something. But certainly, there's, I think, with the ability to go into this gamma brainwave activity, you're probably someone that transcends the fear, and you're in this place of silence manifestation.
In my case, I wasn't afraid. And this is the doctor and the military was very oh my God, he's not afraid. Maybe I was transcend my afraid into a power. I was sure of me. I was a ling, a line, and nothing happened to me. I feel inside of me a strong energy. I was like invulnerability, I remember I felt very strong, like, go ahead, send me everything you want, but I'm not afraid. And when I success the test, the military guys and the doctor tell me, go to this room. And there is a dark room. I enter inside. I feel something, not afraid. I feel something very strange penetrate into my mind. And in the shadow, get out the shadow, a big mantis with a big eyes. And she come to me and put his big paw in my shoulder, and in telepathy tell me, don't be afraid. Everything is okay. You have been chosen. And I collapse. And I remember every detail of that. So I was selected. I was special. This is the mantis tell me.
Well, I want to move on now to something that happened when you were 10 years old in 1979. And you wrote a message to me, and I just want to read it out to kind of set the scene for this. You wrote, quote, on August 15, 1979, at the age of 10, I made a trip that I will never forget. I was at the bottom of the sea in the Bahamas, in Bermuda, and I saw a submarine base with UFOs, with an emblem representing a trident. I also met benevolent aquatic beings. I made these drawings on my return. I don't know how long I stayed there, but when I woke up in my bed in the building where we lived in the Paris area, I was tan from the face and there was white sand at the bottom of my bed and between my toes, end quote. So you want to kind of like tell us about that, again, another teleportation experience, this time when you were 10 from your home in Paris.
Yes, exactly. I had these abilities when I was young, and my dad tell me, if you can teleport yourself, go into another place, and we have a globe. It's like a lamp with a globe, with a terrestrial globe, and you have this lamp in your room, and you can discover the country and a lot of things. And I chosen different places, and my finger point into the Bahamas, and I decide to go into the Bahamas. So I go to my bed, and I remember I feel something very strange around me and dizziness. And when I open my eyes, I was into the sea, and I can breathe. It was curious, I can breathe into the water, and I saw a different, um, like. A spaceship. There is a three spaceships connected with a tube, and there is a door with a trident emblem, and there was a beings, aquatic beings, very very kind with me. It was unconditional love uh, outside these beings. And I don't know how many times I spent into, but I remember uh, when I came back into my bed, my face was tan, and I had a white sand between my toes and in the bottom of my bed. And at this moment, I live into a building 9th floor into Paris with my parents. So how could you explain that? Tan and a white sand. And I draw, like I say, everything when I go into a travel or teleportation in my diaries. And I'm very happy now to have this proof, this evidence. And you tell me that GP explain the same detail of the position with the tube and like a spaceship. Yes, like a spaceship into the sea, into the Bahamas. And I remember every detail. And the curious thing is, when I was into the sea, like I say, I be able to breathe into the water, and I feel everything was accurate, the color, the sensation of water. It's I want to explain something very important. When I threw something, I feel the molecule of the thing, if I go through iron, it's very hard, but I can pass through. If I go into water, I feel the molecule, the structure of the DNA of the water, and it's very soft, and it's very hard to explain. I hope people understand, but I have an interaction with the structure, the DNA of the thing. I feel really through. Everything is alive. Okay, so when I was in the water, it's like the water be a part of me. It's very soft. It's very it's a wow. You are a piece of water. You are the water, and you are the water too. It's like this one. You are the same thing. It's a whole, but you are. I don't understand. You know what I mean?
Well, it does seem as though you have this ability to your awareness. Something was triggered in your awareness for that kind of understanding, so that you teleport from your home in Paris to this underwater location, and you're underwater. Now, a lot of people you know, if they're all of a sudden underwater, you would panic, I can't breathe or all of that. But you had this awareness straight away. You had this awareness that, you and the water are one. So that, again, it's like your brain was in this heightened state, this gamma brainwave activity, and in that activity, you know that you and the water are one, and so you can breathe under, and you see everything. So with that first drawing, when you were 10 in the Bahamas, it shows a ship there, and JP has said that he's been taken to an area of the Bermuda Triangle where there's a space ark. So I just wanted to get you to maybe elaborate on that ship. Like, how big was it? Could it be something like what JP says he saw?
It's different symmetry, but I remember it was a big, but there is a few, like there was connected like a hub, it's like a highway, but inside under the sea, and there is a big door with the trident, the emblem. It was the emblem of the people inside. Yes, exactly. It's like an emblem of the people into the sea, I guess.
Okay, so yeah, this, I guess it's the Poseidon's emblem. So that would suggest that this is a civilization that is associated with the ancient Greek or Atlantean deity we know as Poseidon. So that takes me then to the second of the drawings, where you show these three interconnected kind of like domes. I mean, you mentioned spacecraft, but I'm wondering, those three domes, that are connected. Now, what I found really very, very significant. I mean, you drew this when you were 10 years old. You say you teleported there, you're under the water, you feel at one with the water, you can, you're comfortable, and you see these three structures that are joined together, three large hemisphere structures that are joined together by tubes. Well, that is exactly what JP says that he saw when he went on a secret diplomatic mission to these underwater cities in the Atlantic Ocean. So this was an update I did with JP, I think it was back in September of 2022, where he was taken by these aquatic beings in these large submarines into this city under the water, under a big dome. And he described the dome, and that there was a city in there. And so there were three of them, three large domes that were interconnected, and they had passages connecting from one dome to the other. So, to me, that's really remarkable, because that happened to JP in 2022. This incident happened with you when you were 10 years old. So we're talking what, 1979 or 78, something like that.
Yes. And this picture was included. There is 3 years before in my little video capsule about my life in the YouTube channel Connection Alien. I spoke about my travel into the Bahamas when I was young. And this is the proof I don't draw this recently, because I had this picture when I was young, but this picture was in my capsule there 3 years before.
Okay, all right. Well, again, I think that's a remarkable corroboration that you and JP have those kind of similar experiences under the water. And of course, he met aquatic beings. He described them as like 7 foot tall, kind of Nordic looking, and very friendly, and that they were sharing some technology with the US government. And do you remember anything about the aquatic beings that you interacted with when you were 10?
Yeah, my beings was purple, blue purple, and they look like a humanoid, but no hair, just a hole, and like fish, but hybrid with 65% of human. You know, it looked like a humans, but hybrid. It's like a mermaid, you know, but no tail with the feet, and there is something between the finger. I don't remember the name in English, but you know what I mean?
The webbing.
Exactly. To move quickly in the water.
Mm. Well, we've already discussed you earlier teleporting to this location, Sendai. You've teleported to this underwater civilization there, or complex there under the Bahamas in the Bermuda Triangle. You've teleported to
Egypt
other
too.
locations, to Antarctica, Tibet, Japan, Hawaii, Mauna Kea,
Egypt.
and Egypt. And so you've found or encountered ancient technologies there or space arks there. So, for this ability to be activated, do you have to have some kind of emotional connection with the target? I mean, with Sendai, you clearly had an emotional connection because of a past life. So with these other places that you've teleported to, is there a similar emotional connection that enables you to just teleport there? So how is it that you end up teleporting to these places?
If my emotion is the same, not for Sendai, it's a past life, but I think the timeline is it's curious to explain, but the past, the present, and the future maybe is in the same timeline, and sometimes they cross, and I think because my DNA is Japanese, that because my dad have a Japanese DNA, and in the side of my dad, I have a Japanese origin. So maybe my DNA call something into a timeline in link with Sendai. Sendai is very important. Miyoko tell me it's very important with Utsu and Kono. Kono is a goddess of the Mount Fuji. And I have a lot of things in my head, so sorry for people. When I was in vacancy with Melanie to meet you, my friend, we stopped into a curve. There was we were in a big island in a Japanese old cemetery, and I was attracted. I don't know why. I was attracted to stop at this cemetery, and I was stand in the front of an old grave. I don't know what is right because it's very, very old. And Melanie take a picture of me, and I take a picture of Melanie in the front of another grave. A few years after, 3 or 4 years after, I asked to Miyoko, tell me what is right in Japanese in this grave. And she tell me, it's right. You are a light warrior and a son of Kono. And wow, okay, what's the news? And I say, the grave of Melanie, what's right, not in Japanese, just forever Kono. How many chance to have this link to Kono, Utsu, Sendai, again and again? Everything is linked into my life to this past life in Japan with beings. And you know what? Mariko tell me, when I was young and I wrote in my diaries, I remember the date exactly precisely, it was in 1175 centuries, Sendai, and she do a research about that, and she discovered a legend of an emperor kill every people in the village of Sendai, remember? But this emperor was a big reptilian. She tell me in the legend, people say this person, this emperor, was mixed with reptile in the legend, you know. But it's curious, right? A legend, but this emperor was a part of reptile, and it was very dangerous. And you know, the Japanese legend with Naja people and blah blah blah. There is a lot of thing about dragon in the mythology, and when you saw in space the satellite image of the island of Japan, it looked like a dragon sleeping. The island looked like a dragon sleeping.
So clearly, you have a kind of affinity for Japan with Sendai, with the kind of like Ark that's located there at Mount Fuji, Utsu and Kono, and there's a connection with Hawaii. But you've also had experiences in other places that have these space arks, like Antarctica and Tibet. So why do you think you're having the experiences with these space arcs? Is it because you think that you are connected in some way, you know, through the as a you know, as a crew member, or could it be that somehow these space arcs are in a process of activation, and they're calling people or having people come and to them in some way? I don't know if you want to just speculate about that.
Yeah, speculate. I don't. I don't think I am a crew of this arc. I think I am very important to activate some arc because my DNA in my gamma frequency and my Tibetan wave, again, ASEAN, you know, Tibetan wave. And maybe I'm here to like say Danny and Elena, I'm a trigger for a lot of people. Memory came back, and I met a lot of people where I was with these people in space. And I think for the arc, I'm a part of a big puzzle. I'm not the only one, but I think my abilities is important, because when I was in the arc in Japan, Utsu and Kono tell me I was a part of the disclosure of the Japan. So it's a very important. I say, oh my God, okay. And she tell me, you are a very important person. I don't want to say that and people say, oh my God, he's a king. And no, not that. It's important to clarify. It's not me tell this. It's another person. And Mariko and Miyoko do a research about everything I tell. And I can invent this detail, because some detail of my life and detail of Kono and Utsu is only into Japanese history museum and wrote and write only in Japanese language. So I can imagine something. So she tell me I am very important for this disclosure of Japan, and I am very important because when I was in the Ark, I was teleported into Kailash Mountain in Tibet. I was teleported into Antarctica. I was teleported into a lot of place. And each time when I go into this ark, there was an interaction with me. There is a symbol wrote inside the spaceship, the ark, and it light on and light off when I go near this inscription, you know, the light off and light on. It was very, and she tell me, you are a part of this. So I am not in the crew, but I guess it's speculate, okay? I guess I am like a GP, like Elena, very important to rise the arc, you know. So each of us are a piece of this puzzle, and I feel inside of me it's we are very near for a big disclosure.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about now is how close are we to these arcs? I mean, we know they're in a process of activation. How long before they actually start to rise up and people start seeing them? I mean, you have a contact with the Galactic Federation, Victor, and so does he tell you anything? Has he said anything recently about the arcs?
No, Victor is don't tell everything. He lets me discover something about me because he don't want to give me everything. He tell me sometimes, okay, you must alone, and I'm here if you need me, but you must, because it's too easy. If you have the right answer at the moment, your experience is different, you know. So he sometimes ask some question to Victor, and he tell me, okay, I have the answer, but you must find yourself the answer. And he don't give me information about. Sometimes he tell me when I am in danger, he helped me. When I have a problem in Earth, like eaters or something else, he don't help me for that because it's a human problem. But if I ask to Victor, it's possible to have an invasion, alien invasion. He asked me, there is a possibility to false alien invasion, because the real alien don't want to invade your world. If they want, it wasn't take a time, you know. It will be very quick. So don't be afraid of about that. It's very hard to translate for me because I search my word. You there is a lot of alien species. They walk among us, you know. They walk among us during a lot of centuries. So the invasion is over. If you think really there is no invasion in the future because they are already here.
Okay, so as far as people saying that the alien invasion is possible, I mean, you're saying Victor has said that a genuine alien invasion, no way, that's not going to happen. But that you could have a fake alien invasion. In other words, you can have government or the deep state using its own technology to simulate an invasion. But if they did that, then it probably wouldn't be too long before it gets exposed and it would fail. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, because you know, when people think maybe an alien invasion, the answer is it's done. The invasion was there is a few centuries. There they're already here. There is a lot of species here, inside the Earth, in Agatha, inside the ocean, outside, and there is a lot of beings around us. So it's so wrong to say will be invasion. No, because they are already here, you know? They are already in connection with the government and a lot of things. The government knows the truth. They know the truth. So they want to be afraid people and say now, after 3 years of frightening, we must invent something else. Okay, what's okay? Maybe alien invasion. And I don't think. I think if there is alien invasion, it will be a false alien invasion, like say John de Sousa.
Right. Yes, John D'Souza supports that. He thinks that it'll be using government technologies and holograms and so forth to simulate a real alien invasion. Now, one of the things that presumably would be part of this alien invasion, and I guess this is, I just did an interview with JP, an update where he says that essentially what's happening right now is that there's a lot of orbs. You know, some of the orbs are coming from the Space Arks. They're being released by the Space Arks. And they're kind of doing all kinds of measuring and interacting with people. But other orbs are being released by the government corporations to kind of confuse things, to make it unclear as to what's what and who's who. So, you know, what do you know about that?
It's like a spaceship. There is a alien spaceship, and there is spaceship terrestrial with retro-engineering. And for the orbs, it's the same thing. The technology of orbs for government and for extraterrestrial, it's like keep an eyes in the humans. You know, it's like a drone, and they watch us and bring information and go into a military base or a spaceship, and they bring information. And today they invent a nuclear bomb. Oh my God! It's like a little spy, you know. They want to collect information, and after that they come back into the place and give information. But I think there is the organic orbs too. There is a lot of orbs. There are orbs terrestrial, orbs extraterrestrial, and orbs interdimensional. Because a lot of species use this technology to bring some information outside of the dimension or outside the spaceship, or you know, it's like a drone, but very, 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 very intelligent. And this is a part of organic spaceship too. It's like an extension, you know. It's like an eyes with a nerve, and they want to collect information, and after that they bring another information to the spaceship or a base. Or this is my what I think about the orbs. But I know the orbs is here to collect information about us, because they want to know what we do. They don't want humans destroy the planet, you know, not for us, but for extraterrestrial and around the Earth. You know, the collateral damage will be catastrophic, you know. So they want to know what we do with atomic. There is a orbs under a military base. There is a orbs into atomic rocket and a lot of things. They stop a lot of things. Sometimes they intervene when we have a launch rocket, and they stop everything about atomic bomb. And there is a lot of orbs in electric factory, and there is many orbs. It is a technology very important.
Yes, well, JP says that if you get too close to one of these orbs, you need to be very careful, because you can be killed or injured severely, because they are they are kind of like fulfilling certain functions, and they have self-defense capabilities. So they're kind of like surveillance drones. But I'm wondering, the Space Ark orbs, according to JP, are doing things, and they're looking for the crew. So I guess the question would be, some people listening to this might say, well, if I see an orb, should I go up close to it? How do I tell the difference between a good orb and a bad orb?
Yes. I think there is a good orbs and a bad orbs. It depends which is behind. The orbs is in Ark. It's like a guardian, like a bodyguard of the crew. But
Okay.
if this technology is a good in a good end, is okay. It like every technology. But imagine unbenevolent beings have this technology too and use to the wrong side. It's possible. Everything can be used for a good thing or bad things.
Well, I did meet you and your wife, Melanie, in Hawaii. In fact, you proposed to her in Hawaii at the top of Mauna Kea. And so there's a kind of special bond between you and Melanie. And what's very interesting is that Melanie is also a starseed, and also was part of the crew on the Excelsior. So you want to tell us about that?
Yes, I had many memories about when I was young. When I was young, I was 7 and Melanie was 4, because we have 3 years between us. And I remember when I was 7, I spoke to my parents. I walking into a corridor, and I was in a spaceship, and in the left or right, I don't remember, there is a big room with a bright room, and I remember a few beings, the blue beings, and between these two beings there is a little blonde girl, 4, and the beings tell me, come, and I came into this room, and they tell me, take care of this little girl. And this is the first time I met. At this moment, I don't know it's Melanie, but we have the same memory. And she met a boy when she was into this spaceship. So after that, we have a different way. She made something very different with all other children, and me too. And we met again when we were teenager, and we met again when we were adult. And Melanie and I have a lot of corroboration of memories, and she writes into a diaries too. She found her diary. There is 3 or 4 days now, with a lot of detail, very accurate between Melanie and I. And this is what we expose in Orlando in October, because I don't want to tell too many detail. We must keep the secret. But Melanie and I made a mission in space together when I was in secret space program, because we live something very similar together with another children.
Yeah, that again, very interesting corroboration that you both have those childhood memories and recognized each other, and then you ended up being together as husband and wife. And yeah, I look forward to Melanie, talking at the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection that's coming up on October 20 to 22. So, what will you be talking about at that event?
Maybe if I finish my new movie, South Origin 2, I spoke about my new movie, but I spoke about my interaction with Japan, with a lot of things happen with teleportation, and a lot of things I keep secret right now for the Orlando conference.
Yes, well, I do look forward to that and catching up again with you. So, you mentioned your upcoming movies. So, where can people go to get your movies?
People can get my movie into Vimeo.com. I think you put the link into your your video because yes, exactly. Starseed Revelation 2 is the new movie, because inside there was a lot of testimony of my dad and my mom and my best friend, and a lot of evidence, physically proof about what happened in my life. It's a resume with evidence of what's happened, very strange about my abilities and witness during all my life since my birth and right now. So this is a very important movie for me because everything is real. South Shore 2 is a sequel of South Shore 1. It's 85% real and a lot of things fiction, like X-File, but inspired by real events. Very, very, very important to clarify. Some people say, "Oh, it's real or not." 85% is real, but I play a role because it was my solution to disclosure. There is 4 years before to disclose my story, because at this moment I guess people wasn't ready to have the truth. So I decide to make this movie, and with the pause of 3 years, I must stop my movie. So between the first part and the two parts, there is 3 years, and I want to finish my movie and pass to another thing after that. But it's very important. This is a movie, a document fiction movie, but with the real things inside. Now people know me, so I think they understand what I mean when they saw the story of Jonathan Fox and Annabelle Parker, these two special agents in cold case X-File in Canada with the extraterrestrial abduction and the secret space program inside. So this is my story, but with a little romance into.
Well, Jean-Charles, you've got incredible stories to share. Your experiences are truly amazing, and I really congratulate you on being able to find so many multiple points of corroboration and using scientific data to support these incredible experiences. And that's very, very rare in this field. A lot of people make incredible claims, but offer no evidence. But you actually make the effort to provide evidence. So I want to just kind of congratulate you on doing that and being able to find so many corroborating points of data. So I look forward to your movie coming out, South Shore 2, and seeing you at the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection in Orlando in October. So thank you and aloha.
Thank you very much, my friend, to receive me today. And I'm very, very happy to be with you at the Orlando Part 2 again. And thank you very much.
You have been listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Join or start a conversation in the comments. Take the time to explore the vast library of best-selling books, webinars, and podcasts by Dr. Salla. Visit exopoliticstoday.com.